her tenure for aggressive immigration tactics, the killing of 2 Americans in Minneapolis, an alleged affair, just to name a few scandals. President Trump delivered the surprise announcement on social media, effectively firing Noem, but giving her a new role he apparently just created: special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Sources tell CNN he finally soured on her because of her disastrous hearings on the Hill.
You said that they were domestic terrorists. Do you regret that?
I offer my condolences to those family and
based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Reddy domestic terrorists?
There's ongoing investigations, and so
So you still don't know? You think that's an open question?
I would think you would want there to still be investigations. And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That overwhelmingly
effective in your name recognition.
Quality matters, not quantity, quality. And what we've seen is a disaster under your leadership, Ms. Noem.
With me now is a member of the House Homeland Security Committee who questioned Noem during a hearing this very week, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, who's also running for governor of California. Congressman, welcome. Can you tell me, what does it say to you that the president was willing to give Noem the boot?
Well, she threw him under the bus, right? And he can tolerate almost anything. You know, the cruelty of chasing immigrants through the fields and factories where they work, or dragging women by their hair and putting them in unmarked vans, or public executions. That didn't bother him. It was when she blamed him for the ad campaign. And tonight, everyone in America is safer because of Christie Noem's firing, at least for now.
I want to play for the audience that moment that you say is throwing under the bus when she's talking about that ad campaign and whether the president authorized it. Listen.
The president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly,
Did the president
worked
know
with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
So it was a Republican who's questioning her on that very notion. And according to the president, he did not know about the controversial multi-million-dollar ad contract. But that story, it broke in November, Congressman. So why do you think he fired her now?
Because she blamed him for it, and it made him look bad. And again, he can tolerate a lot. Again, she's arrested and deported really good people, a lot of them Californians, 95% of them who have no criminal record. You know, we lost a nurse named Freddie and a mom named Good, who were publicly executed in our streets. I have constituents who were deported and were told, the courts told the administration, don't deport him, let him stay here, and they did it anyway. He was fine with all of that, and of course now has given her this bogus Avengers-like position. And all I ask is, please, at her new job, keep her away from people and puppies.
Congressman Senator Blumenthal said that he wants Noem to be investigated for perjury. Given all the other areas you want to hold her accountable for, is that something you think is worth pursuing here?
I think the most important thing we can do is protect the most vulnerable in our community who are on the run right now and living in fear, and see masked thugs without warrants and identification terrorizing our community. You know, Christie Noem, she thinks she's just getting a demotion, but when Democrats take the House after November, she'll be returning. I can promise you there will be a real demand for her to return to get to the bottom of her cruelty and incompetence, and for the American people to finally get some measure of justice.
The Democrats have been blocking DHS funding. So what would accountability for ICE and Border Patrol look like going forward, even assuming there is an opportunity to question Noem in the way you want?
Well, we have made it clear that the masks have to come off, identification has to come out, the roving terror that is happening in our communities where people are targeted based on their accent, the color of their skin, and where they work, that also has to stop. You have to go to a judge to get a warrant before you go into someone's house. You know, those are the demands. And oh yes, by the way, no more public executions like we saw in Minneapolis. But I am heartened to see that Democrats are sticking together, and rock solid governors in many states are also going to the courts or making it clear that they'll use their law enforcement authorities. The American people overwhelmingly did not ask for this. They just wanted lower prices, and instead we've gone to the bottom as far as decency in how we treat people in this country.
You know, Congressman Trump, he has a new pick to lead DHS. It's Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. He seemed to be caught a little off guard by the news coming out today. Listen.
You know, the president and I still got to communicate, so we'll talk about it moving forward. And the president and I have already talked. Obviously, the statement went out. We need to talk with the president, and we're going to get on the same page and do what things that we want to do.
When did you find out, sir?
A little bit before you guys did.
Caitlin Collins reports that the president loves to watch Senator Mullen on television. That played a role in his decision, which obviously is a pattern for this president. Do you think he should or will be confirmed?
No, and possibly, you know, I hope that senators, including Democratic senators, don't, you know, treat this as the Senate club and give deference that should not be given. And again, this is mostly about having somebody who is qualified, experienced, and understands the value that nonviolent immigrants have brought to our community, who are overwhelmingly who is being arrested and deported. But it does not surprise me one bit that somebody like Pete Hegseth or Secretary Duffy, who have both had disastrous terms in their positions, were people that Donald Trump enjoyed watching on TV. And this pattern and where it goes from here probably won't surprise us either.
Congressman Swalwell, thank you for joining.
My pleasure.